I've got a little bit of time today before I gotta go out and do some errands while everybody's asleep. So the yarn I have today that's on my awesome Nitty Notty that I created long ago from PVC pipe from Home Depot. The yarn itself is Patons Classic Worsted from Yarnspirations. Same people, if I understand right and recall correctly, that make Red Heart. Y'all need to bring back Glowworm, please. Please don't mind the AC running in the background. It's absolutely necessary. Anyway, this is my dedicated dye pot. This is the mask I'm going to be putting on when I add in these two acid dyes. They're in powder form, that's why you need a dust mask. Very important. But first, I'm going to go ahead and add the vinegar. Okay, we got our vinegar. Measure. That's good. Who measures? Not me. I do this for fun. Alright, and let's not forget to turn up the heat. Oh, and don't mind the absolutely terrible lighting, but wear one of these. It's just the basic one I've had for forever. It keeps the particles out, I hope. It's not the most top grade, but it'll work for particles and whatever the heck. Luckily we don't have no wildfire smoke anymore, or whatever it actually was. Okay, and like I said, I don't really measure, but we're gonna go like that. Get a little bit of the silver gray out. And we're gonna pour it in there. Get that in there. And then we're gonna add a small amount of the black, and hopefully this is not too much, but it should be good. Get that off. Let that temperature rise. Alright, it's starting to steam. Let's get my yarn off the Nitty Notty. Okay, I have actually dropped it in a little bit off camera, and we are just starting our process. Now, a trick that I used way long ago when I made that green and goldfish type of yarn was just because I wanted to separate it and have a section. What I did was basically use the clamp here. And it's just a basic clamp. I think I picked it from some big box store long ago. I don't use it too often, but it works if you have to clamp something down. I'm just gently trying to get that to submerge itself into the black. And okay, so I've done a whole lot of poking and prodding to get that yarn down into the water and the dye, and we're just gonna let it do its thing now. And so I'll check back later when it's either bubbling or when we're ready for the next step of the process. Stay tuned. Now the yarn is all drying and it's dripping, and hopefully it dries pretty well by tonight so that I can get progressing with the next part of the dye process. I'm gonna put a rainbow right there. Hopefully, with it being so warm out today and the sun is going to set over there, it'll be ready for me. What I'm attempting to do here, and why I'm doing a voiceover, is One, I want to make as much use of my time as I possibly can because nap time only lasts so long. Two, I'm wearing a dust mask. And three, I want to concentrate on what I'm doing. So I will explain now. I am using powder dyes, thus why I want to use a dust mask. And I have gotten my yarn all situated, and I've been getting it wet with vinegar already. And I will be adding some more vinegar water to it so that the vinegar and water will hold the dye into the yarn once it's heated. What I'm doing now is at the edges, I am putting purple on either side, and then I will be adding blue and then pink next. Now, what I did discover happened is that I didn't wash out my little sponge brush before moving over to the hot fuchsia, which is what I'm using. And it kind of got a purpley hue, which nothing you can do at this point. The dye is already in there, so you gotta go with it. But as I later continued on, in between heating it a little bit, washing my brush, coming back, and adding the next different colors of dye. Next is the orange, and then the green. I had already added the blue at this point, I believe. And basically I just carefully added the lighter colors as I went, with yellow always wanting to be last. And if I can heat set my other colors then add yellow, that's what I generally do, because the yellow will take the orange and the green that surrounds it, and it doesn't stay the really bright yellow that I always want. However, as you will see, I made this dye process work really well, and overall I enjoyed watching it progress and turn out. I had to be very careful because I didn't want the plastic to melt because I lined it with a plastic wrap, and then I didn't want my dry portions of the yarn to overheat or burn. So at first I had my oven up at 250, then I dropped it on the last go around back down to 200, and the first one was about, I'd say, 10 minutes, and then the second go around was another 10 minutes just to completely get what dye I could get absorbed into my yarn, and it turned out great. And now we have our drip drying yarn with the rainbow. Overall, it turned out, it definitely reads as rainbow, and I'm pleased with it, especially with what I had to work with. So it's a hot day, I'm gonna let this dry, and then later on I'm going to get this wound up or something so that it's presentable and awesome. If you're new to my channel, my name is Sarah. I make yarn, I dye yarn, and I do stuff with yarn and sparkle. If you don't want to lose out on my channel and the whole thing that is YouTube and the algorithm, consider clicking the subscribe button. Go make stuff sparkle. Catch you next time.